Making a good video is actually not too difficult. Nowadays we've got excellent cameras on our phones, and you've got other digital cameras that can do a wonderful job inexpensively. But you need a couple of basics. You need good lighting from the front, and ideally you white balance your camera to the lighting that you've got. You can just use a white card or a white shirt to do that. So once you've got your camera adjusted properly, the next thing is to have a composition in the frame done right. And when I say right, I mean so that it'll look professional and it'll make it possible for me to crop it down properly. To do that, you want to make sure that your head and eyes are in the upper part of the frame. If your head is down here and I have to go to crop it, it's going to make your head look really big and it just doesn't look right at all. So please put your head in the top of the frame up here, and also you want to be back onto the side with your back to the back of the frame, depending on which direction you're facing. Now, the direction is also important because you want to be facing the direction that you would be on stage. For instance, brass players in the Foothills Phil are always on stage left. So you want your video to come out looking like you're playing stage left. And so you're facing the audience, you're also facing the maestro, and that way it'll look good when we go to edit everything together. Now if you record yourself facing the wrong direction, I'm going to have to flip you around and you're going to look like you're playing backwards. So that's obviously not good. So once again, I'm demonstrating that I've got my instrument in view if at all possible. Some instruments it's not going to be possible, like a trombone slide is going to go out of view and so forth. But you definitely don't want to be facing to the side because that'll look like you're playing off stage, and you don't want to have your bell in the camera either because that's going to cover up your face and it just doesn't look right. So just a nice angle like that. Now, what you're going to see when I've got this camera doing portrait mode. I'm sorry, it's doing landscape right now. And you know, you may want to turn your camera around and do portrait mode, and that's fine too, as long as it's properly framed up. I can just use it directly or just crop it minimally. But what I'm going to do, if you record yourself in landscape mode, I'm going to actually crop out, probably, I mean it depends on how I do the production, but I'm probably going to crop you out so that this section of the frame is actually not in the final video. So a lot of y'all will be using your smartphones to record your video, and that's perfectly fine. The video quality is generally pretty good and the audio is not bad. So feel free to use your phones, but make sure you use them properly. Like right now I'm demonstrating how not to use your phone because it's not properly framed up. I don't want to see ceiling. Okay, in order to avoid that with your phone on your stand, you're going to have to raise your stand up and point it down. So I'm going to do that right now. Oopla. Okay, so I've got it raised up, and I've actually got a little clip on my stand here that keeps my music and my phone from falling off the stand when I rotate it forward. So now you can see that my head's where it belongs in the frame. I've got a good shot of my upper body. You know, my instrument pretty much is in view, and that'll make for a really good video. So feel free to use your phones. Just make sure to follow these guidelines and it'll turn out great. The other thing you want to be aware of is what's going on in the background. I like to have a neutral background. You may choose to have something pleasant in the background. That's okay. But I kind of like a neutral background. You want to be wearing some nice clothes, you know, and that's pretty much it. So now comes the fun part, actually recording your part. And presumably you have been practicing, and so you feel comfortable with all the sections, and you can even play the entire thing through without an error. Well, if you're like me, you're never quite satisfied with what you play. And so you have to play the whole thing through at least once, because that's the video that we'll be using for the production. But what we can do, if there are sections that you're not quite satisfied with, you can go back and re-record those sections, and then I'll substitute the audio so that you will sound perfect. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to cue up the click track. Now, I'm going to have the click track playing through my speakers, but normally you'd use headphones or Bluetooth so that the click track would not be audible in your recording. So, what I'm going to do is play a section, review it, and decide whether or not I like it. So let's see what we can do here. Let's start my recorder going. And get the click track going. Okay. So, sorry. So now I'm going to go back and listen to what I just recorded and see if that's a good take. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so I actually feel like it would sound better if I played the notes longer rather than marcato. And so I think I'd like to do another take, and this time I'm going to play the notes longer and see how it works out. So I need to get my click track queued up again. That should be about right. Okay, and so I'll get the recorder going again and click track going again. Get that stopped, get the recorder stop, take a quick listen. Okay, I can tell I like that a lot better already. So, you can do as many takes as you like, and when you're satisfied, you can turn off the video recorder, and you know, at this point you may have a lot of takes on there. If you want, you can send me the entire recording, and especially if you tell me which take, you know, you give me the time of the take that you really like best, I'll pull it out and I'll substitute that section for the section in your video that you want to replace. And So it's just that easy, and that way we'll make sure that the production quality is as high as possible. If you follow these guidelines, we're going to have a really good quality production, and it's going to be a lot easier for me to make you look good in the video. So I'm looking forward to getting everybody's video in. This is a really exciting production, and hopefully we'll be able to play together in not too distant future. Thank you very much.